Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over something one of you guys actually suggested to me a couple of videos ago, and that is Thorpe Park versus ALTON Towers. Now, in this video I'm going to be going through it in a particular way. Basically, I'm going to be judging these parks on 3 different subjects. Now, these are 3 different subjects that are quite important to make a theme park good. So in round 1 we're going to be looking at rides. Obviously, you go to a theme park to ride rides is a pretty important part of the theme park, if you ask me. So yeah, that's going to be round 1, and then we're going to head over to round 2, which is going to be merchandise. And we're talking about the different merch that these 2 parks have been sort of releasing over the last couple of years. And then in round 3, which will be the final round, I will be going over food, because obviously, if you're at a theme park all day, you get hungry, so I'm going to be judging on different unique restaurants they have at the park. I'm not necessarily going to be judging it on like fast food, like Burger King, KFC and that, because that's not really fair, because you can pretty much find that anywhere. So, without further ado, let's get into the video and find out which is better. Okay, so in round 1, we are going to be heading first to Thorpe Park Resort. Now, like I said, I'm going to be judging rides as the first round. However, I'm not going to be judging them on the number of rides, because I do know that ALTON Towers does have an extra, roller coaster and stuff, and ALTON Towers is generally bigger. So I'm not really going to be sort of judging it on that. I'm going to be judging it on the quality of rides. So, overall, the rides at the park, the way they've been running over the last couple of years has been fairly decent. I mean, operations and that are, sort of varied over different days. However, I haven't really ever had a problem with any of these rides. Now, the way I'm actually going to be judging this is mainly by sort of uniqueness for each of the rides at each of the parks, because it's going to be kind of difficult to judge them otherwise. So, uniqueness at Thorpe Park. What can you find at Thorpe Park Resort that is so unique? Now, Stealth is probably the most unique coaster in this park, and that is because you get launched from 0 to 80 in 2.3 seconds, which is a phenomenon you pretty much can't experience really anywhere else in the UK. Obviously, you've got bigger and better launch coasters out there, but as far as the UK goes, obviously, this is pretty much the only decent one. I mean, we've got Rita, but let's be honest, that's not very good, is it? But yeah, so this is a very unique experience. However, the one thing that really does downgrade Stealth is the fact that it's short. However, I don't hold it accountable for being bad for that. I find like short and sweet coasters to be a lot better. I mean, Oblivion's my favourite coaster in the UK, so yeah, that just goes to show. As well as other unique experiences, we have obviously got the Swarm. This is another one of my favourite rides at the park. I'd say it's my second favourite, with Stealth being first. Very, very unique. Like I said, it's the only wind coaster we've got in the UK, I'm pretty sure. Or at least it was when it first opened. And yeah, it gives you a really, really unique experience. Obviously, extra brownie points if the back 2 rows were still backwards, but because they're not backwards, yeah, that's not going to be judged. However, yeah, it is a very, very unique experience. Obviously, the whole theming of it and the whole sort of storyline is very, very unique, and I would say is probably one of the best in the country. So moving on to Colossus. Now, Colossus is very interesting because this isn't really a coaster that holds up now, but is a very, very historical, memorable coaster to a lot of people. And I'm not really going to be judging this coaster too much for that particular reason. I'm looking at coasters that are very, very unique and in right now, rather than holding a bit of history and aren't really holding up very well. I mean, if they've got some good history and they're still running very, very smoothly, then yeah, I will 100%, give them an extra point for that. However, Colossus isn't really, so yeah, that's my personal opinion, but I don't think Colossus is running as well as it used to. Yes, it may be a gem at the park, and it may be one of those rides that's been here for, well, pretty much since it got quite big. I'm not going to really count it as something really special. Now, moving on to Soar. Yeah, this Soar is a very hard coaster to judge because of where you have to sit. Sitting on Soar is pretty much life or death. If you choose the wrong seat, you're going to come out of it pretty much with minor head damage. I mean, this coaster is very, very rough and very, very, shaky in a way. I mean, some of the turns are very, very sort of vigorous and can, make you bang your head, which is probably the main reason why I'm not a huge fan of this coaster. And I think the main reason that saves this coaster for me is the theming. I mean, the theme is absolutely phenomenal, but I can't really judge a coaster if its theming's good and the roller coaster experience is absolutely horrible. So moving on to Nemesis after that. Nemesis Inferno isn't exactly the best coaster in the world. Obviously, I'd much prefer Nemesis to Alton Towers, mainly because that's the original. However, it doesn't mean to say that Nemesis Inferno doesn't run well and isn't a bad coaster. Yeah, I really enjoy Nemesis Inferno. Like I said, if it wasn't really branded to the Nemesis name, I feel like a lot of people would hold it a lot higher. But because people, you know, start comparing the two of them, it kind of gets buried in the ground a little bit, and I don't really think it deserves that. I think it's an extremely enjoyable coaster. Now, with all those coasters out of the way, let's move over to Alton Towers. Now, Alton Towers, hands down, I'm going to say it right now, has some of the best coasters in the UK, like, period. I mean, not only has it got unique experiences that still hold up, it has some of the best, like, pioneering coasters of, like, pretty much the decade. Obviously, we've got things like Oblivion, you know, that started off pretty much the whole dive coaster thing. I'm pretty sure it is still one of the only dive coasters we have here in the UK. Obviously, Smiler still holds the record for 14 loops. Absolutely phenomenal coaster. Nemesis, one of the oldest coasters to ever be at Alton Towers. Still standing and still running absolutely incredibly. Galactica, yeah, it may have had some problems in the past with its VR, but overall, we don't have that many flying coasters in the UK, so I'm going to hold that a lot higher. You can sort of see where I'm starting to go here, because I do much prefer these types of rides. I mean, they're a lot more unique and they still hold up a lot more to some of the Thorpe coasters. Like I said earlier, like, I'm not like trashing on Thorpe Park at all. Like I said, Thorpe Park's my local park, so it's like, yeah, I still really enjoy it. But on the ride side of things, I'm going to have to give this one to Alton Towers. So, that ends round 1 with 1 point to Alton Towers Resort. Okay, so moving on into round 2, then we're going to be talking about merchandise. Now, let's start off at Alton Towers actually first this time. Now, Alton Towers has got some incredible merchandise, obviously, with Wicker Man opening in 2018. Obviously, the merchandise for that really started to pop out, and it's probably one of my favourite types of merchandise to purchase at Alton Towers. I mean, I've got a Wicker Man jumper in my wardrobe at the moment, and I absolutely love some of the merchandise that you can get for it, and I've even got the mug over there. So, yeah, it's safe to say that I really do enjoy Wickerman's merchandise. However, for all of the other coasters at the park and all of the other stuff, I think the only real ones that stand out like Wickerman is the Smiler. Now, obviously, Smiler's obviously one of the more recent ones as well, and I'm pretty sure some of the ones pretty much before Galactica backwards don't really have too much merchandise for them, and I think that's really like sad, because some of these like rides have some seriously cool theming and could really be like interpreted in a merchandise type t-shirt very well. However, Alton Towers, you know, haven't really capitalised on this. I mean, yes, they have merchandise for these rides, but they're not really as like predominant as stuff like the Smiler and Wicker Man, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards Thorpe Park a bit now, but I'll obviously get to Thorpe Park in a second. In terms of actual stores, obviously not all of the coasters at, you know, Alton Towers do have shops outside of their ride, and that is the exact same for Thorpe Park, so I'm not really going to put Thorpe Park any higher for that one. Obviously, they've got the Tower Street, obviously the Towers Trading. You know, that sort of stuff I absolutely adore. I love the whole merchandise, like, type theming and stuff they have, you know, Tower Street in general. Absolutely amazing. However, let's take a look at Thorpe Park, because Thorpe Park have actually probably saved themselves for this round, because, if I'm being honest, last year was an absolutely amazing year for merchandise. Obviously, Thorpe Park last year did have their 40th anniversary and came with a lot of, you know, merchandise for this particular event, including t-shirts, jumpers, mugs, lanyards, you name it. Pretty much everything to do with the 40th anniversary was turned into a piece of merchandise, and yeah, I'm speechless. Some of this merchandise is absolutely, like, amazing, and I was actually really sad I didn't get to purchase any of it last year, but I have heard that even more is coming this year, so yeah, that is very pleasing to me to hear. Obviously, not to say that Alton Towers didn't have any special merchandise last year. Obviously, they had their 25th anniversary for Nemesis. Now, we've even got the Nemesis t-shirt for that, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, it's not just the logo printed on the shirt, it's like sparkling and stuff, and I think it looks absolutely cool. However, I'm going to have to give Thorpe Park a point on this one because of that 40th anniversary merch. Now, I'm sure Alton Towers is going to have some 40th anniversary merch out this year, but as where we stand at the moment, I'm going to have to give this one to Thorpe Park. Okay, so it is now time for the third and final round, which is going to be food. Now, food for me is extremely important at a theme park, not just because I love food, but plainly because I don't usually bring packed lunches to Thorpe Park and that, because obviously it's stuff to carry, and generally just bringing like a little bag, having some money in it is a lot easier than bringing like a massive like cool bag or something like that. And that is where these sort of theme park restaurants do start to shine through. Now, this is very extremely difficult to judge, plainly because Thorpe Park has a lot of fast food restaurants, like Burger King and KFC, and I'm not really going to count pizza and pasta because, you know, Alton Towers has one of them as well. So yeah, there's not really much to judge it on. However, we have the legendary Amity Kebab at Thorpe Park. Now, this is going to sound really weird, but I absolutely love this this restaurant. Well, if you can even call it a restaurant, really. I love this kebab. Honestly, it is my favourite thing to have at Thorpe Park, obviously, other than something like Burger King. It's absolutely delicious, and if you enjoy kebabs, yeah, it's really, really nice. Let me just put it that way. However, I'm not just going to make Thorpe Park win this round because they have a kebab shop, because not everybody likes kebabs. As surprising as it sounds, not everyone likes them. So, heading over to Alton Towers, let's take a look at what they've got. Now, they've got some really unique restaurants, actually, and there's one game-changing restaurant that is really going to maybe put Alton Towers in the lead here, and that is the roller coaster restaurant. Now, obviously, I will be counting this. Obviously, this is something you kind of have to book, and it's more of a proper restaurant. This isn't like a fast food thing at all. When I went to Alton Towers last year, I did experience this restaurant for the first time and was absolutely blown away. It's probably one of my favourite places to eat in a theme park ever. The food was absolutely amazing, and to be honest, the whole experience of it all was phenomenal as well. Obviously, I sat on the Wickerman table, and if you haven't checked out my roller coaster restaurant review I did a couple of weeks ago, definitely go check that out because I do go a little bit more in depth. But I did sit on the Wickerman table. The whole projection show, the whole experience of your food coming down the tracks, it's absolutely amazing, and that is where Alton Towers really does come in a little bit ahead. Now, that isn't the only good restaurant Alton Towers has, as they do have Burger Kitchen. Now, Burger Kitchen pretty much is, you know, a generic burger place. It's located right next to the Alton Towers dungeon, and once again, did eat in this last year. Had a nice chicken burger, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Obviously, the whole theming of the whole sort of the restaurant itself, obviously it's got all the different rides on the walls, and it really does make you feel like you're in Alton Towers, and really doesn't really stop immersing you in any way, which is why I think this is another extremely good restaurant. Now, I'm pretty sure that's it for the Alton Towers restaurant. Actually, no, that's not it. We have the Costa, if you can really, you know, call this a restaurant. Once again, pretty good. I mean, there's not really much to say. You've also got the Welcome Inn, which is good as well, but I haven't really experienced that, so I can't really judge on that too much. But yeah, let's move over on to Thorpe Park, and yeah, let's see whether Thorpe Park has anything else other than the kebab. Obviously, they have got KFC and Burger King, but other than them, they really don't have anything else, do they? I mean, the main thing to take away from it is they do have Finn's Bar and Grill. That is an extremely good place to eat, and that's pretty much where the main sort of chilling area is for me at Thorpe Park. That's basically where usually my parents sit, and it's a really nice atmosphere. Obviously, it does go extremely well with the Shark Hotel, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what it's for anyway. Obviously, Shark Hotels get free entry to breakfast in this restaurant, so yeah, it really does fit in with the sort of Thorpe Shark theming, and yeah, it's overall a really good themed restaurant. Obviously, you've got all the scrap everywhere and everything, but I wouldn't say it is on the level of anything at Alton Towers. Now, that pretty much settles it. The tiebreaker for this round will be Alton Towers. Now, obviously, let me know all your opinions down in the comments below. I would love to know what you think about this matter. Which one do you prefer, Thorpe Park or Alton Towers? I hope I haven't pissed too many people off today. I know this is probably some controversial talking here. However, it's only a bit of fun, and thank you to the person who did suggest this. Yeah, so any of you that do want to suggest any videos before I end this, definitely do so, because like I've done now, I will film them and make them for you. So, without further ado, I will see you guys later.